Congressman, thank you for being with us. And as you're watching this, we're all watching this. What are you watching for in next steps, especially as Vice President Vance is traveling to Israel this week?
Well, I want to start by recognizing the miracle that President Trump did in getting those 20 living hostages out. Now the question is, does Hamas live up to the end of the deal? And it hasn't looked good so far. They didn't release all the dead hostages like they were supposed to. They've gone across the line like they're not supposed to. They killed a couple of soldiers, and they're killing their own people. So we've got to keep the pressure on with all of the countries that put pressure on Hamas to disarm and allow Gaza to become the kind of place where people can flourish.
What do you think? This has come to be with Witkoff and Kushner negotiating directly with Hamas. How are you viewing the U.S. negotiating directly with terrorist groups?
Well, look, I can only look at the results that we got. I don't think anyone thought Hamas would ever release every single living hostage. It's a miracle. So obviously the results work. And now we're in a much better position to go after Hamas because they don't have the leverage of these hostages. So I support President Trump. I think his team has proven they know how to get results. And I'm very optimistic that they will continue to this week when they're in Israel.
What does it say about how other conflicts besides this one might be solved?
Well, it shows that our American strategy works, that peace through strength. Look, I'm an intense guy.
I'm talking about the negotiating directly with terrorist part. Does that inform your thinking on how other conflicts might be solved?
I think what it shows is that when President Trump leans in and focuses on dealing with all of the parties, he can generate results. We need that same result in Russia and Ukraine. And I think that sort of intense focus is the right way to go. It got results here. Hopefully it can get results in other parts of the world as well.
I want to ask you about something that you said to Laura Loomer, who is a controversial far-right activist, about your bill, the No Sharia Act. You said we have to be focused on the problem. You talked about the problem being the Islamification of America. You said we can see what happened in France, we can see what happened in the UK, we can see what happened in Dearborn, and we have to say we don't want that. What did happen in Dearborn? What do you mean by that?
Well, the mayor of Dearborn, in a city that has become 55% Muslim, told a Christian minister that he was no longer welcome there because he did not want a road named after a terrorist. That is what we're dealing with in this country. And when you have a radical jihadi like Mandami possibly being elected in the city of New York, we've got to deal with that. Now, look, I know that I'm intense about these issues. I'm intense about a lot of things. But these issues matter, and we've got to be able to focus on it. Jews in the UK do not feel safe there anymore, and we do not want that for the United States.
President Trump, as you're well aware, courted Muslim American, Arab American voters in Dearborn. He won Dearborn on his way to winning Michigan. He has nominated Muslim American mayors in Michigan, not far from Dearborn, including Dearborn Heights, to be ambassadors. That was certainly in October of 2024, a population that really mattered a lot to him. How do you square what you're saying with what he has said and how he has viewed these folks?
Well, it's a great question. I don't think they're inconsistent. Not all Muslims believe in terrorism. The problem is a large percentage do, and what President Trump is doing right is he is engaging with the ones that I consider radical, the ones who want peace with Christian and Jewish communities, that want peace around the world to set them up to be successful. That's the way we solve this problem, but we have to be willing to call out the meaningful percentage that engage and promote violence, which we can see all over the country and all over the world.
Do you think you're doing it specifically enough, or do you think that sometimes you may be lumping people in together?
No, and as I said, I'm an intense person. Sometimes it scares away the people closest to me. But what I would say is I'm very clear about this. I believe we have to focus on mainstream Islam. I think we've gotten this wrong. The radical Muslims are the ones who want peace. They're the ones in the UAE, the ones in Dubai, many in Saudi Arabia who want peace. But it is the mainstream, the imams that we can see over and over and over again, like Mandami campaigned with a couple days ago, who call for the destruction of of the West, and we cannot be afraid to call it out. We have to recognize that there is evil in this world, and we have to fight it every day.
You're talking about Imam Wahaj. I just want to be clear to our viewers. He was once named on a list of potential co-conspirators in the 1999 World Trade Center bombings. This is the individual you're talking about?
Yes, but more than that, he was a character witness for the blind sheikh who was involved in it. These are not people that should be leading Muslim communities, people who believe in violence. I want the peaceful Muslims, the one who say, I want to coexist. I don't want to bring Sharia to the United States. Those are the ones that President Trump is finding and embracing, and those are the ones that I want to work with too.
I do just want to be clear so that our viewers have all of the information. This is an imam who has been in charge of a mosque for several decades, which several people connected to that bombing either attended or visited around the time of the attack. That's according to the New York Times. The list of co-conspirators that the imam was on, quote, was later criticized for being overly broad, some former terrorism prosecutors said. I hear what you are saying about that. I just want to be very clear about all the information out there about that imam. Congressman Randy Fine.
With all due respect.
Go on.
With all due respect, no one made him be a character witness for the blind sheikh. He chose to do that all by himself.
Congressman Randy Fine, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.